Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're on a pretty critical mission. We're trying to give you the operating manual for, well, the most complex machine you'll ever own, your brain.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about reading the manual, we're figuring out how to install entirely new self-software.
Right, to upgrade your whole operating system from the inside out.
I think the best way to frame it is this brain as a computer analogy. You could have the exact same hardware as a tech genius. I mean, the most cutting-edge supercomputer.
Yeah.
But if you're just using basic commands and they're running complex code, their results are going to be completely different. Their personal reality will be vastly superior.
So this deep dive is about making you the experienced operator of your own system, moving past the default settings.
Exactly. And the path for that, the framework for this installation, is a very specific progression. Thinking to doing to being.
And the whole goal here really is to move what you learn consciously into your subconscious mind, to make it permanent.
And that's only possible because of something called neuroplasticity, which is, it's one of the most revolutionary findings in modern neuroscience.
We used to think the adult brain was basically set in stone, right?
Completely. Like concrete. But that's just a myth.
Yeah.
We now know the adult brain is incredibly malleable. It can literally change its structure, its function. It can rewire itself based on what you focus on.
So this is where the real freedom comes in. It's this process of pruning and sprouting. We can actively unwire the old circuits, the anxiety, the old habits, and at the same time sprout new, stronger connections for the person you want to be.
And here's the really exciting part, the core of what we're digging into today. You don't always have to take that slow, step-by-step route.
Attaining to doing to being, yeah.
There's a shortcut. A way to go directly from thinking straight to being.
And this is the key to what our sources call quantum creating.
But first, let's unpack that standard progression, because you really need that foundation. I think the classic example is learning to drive a car.
Oh, I remember that. A manual transmission especially. It took up my entire conscious mind.
All of it. Right.
Every single action. Mirror, signal, clutch, gas. You have to think about everything.
Precisely. You're using your neocortex, your thinking brain, to process all this new information. These are facts, rules about driving.
And then after you do it a bunch of times, you start to get the hang of it. You're doing it, your mind and body are finally starting to work together.
Right. You're executing the program. But that's not the final step.
No, because eventually you're not just doing it anymore, you are being a driver. You can navigate traffic, think about what you're making for dinner.
And you arrive home with almost no memory of the specific actions you took.
Yeah, it's all running on a background program. It's automatic. That's the progression right there.
And the science behind that is all based on what's called Hebbian learning. The simple version is nerve cells that fire together wire together.
So every time you repeat a thought or an action, you're physically reinforcing that connection. You're carving a deeper groove.
You're hardwiring it. But I think the most powerful part of that idea is actually the flip side.
That the opposite is also true.
Exactly. Nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together. If you stop giving energy to the old anxieties, the old grudges, they literally start to disconnect.
So you can unwire the past just by taking your attention off of it?
You can. Your conscious thought can prune those old connections. That's how you let go of all that emotional baggage that gets stored in the body.
So the goal is to create a new habit of being, to get your mind's intention and your body's automatic responses on the same page.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You can't have your conscious mind saying, I'm a patient person, while your body is still addicted to the chemical rush of impatience.
Okay, so to do that, we need to understand how the brain is organized for this job. The sources lay out 3 specific parts of the brain that handle this progression.
Right, moving from knowledge to experience, and then finally to wisdom.
And the first one is the big one, the neocortex, the thinking brain.
That's the walnut-like, wrinkly outer part. It's the seat of your conscious mind, your identity. It's where you analyze, plan, and reason.
So when you're reading a book learning facts, that's your neocortex building new synaptic connections. It's gathering knowledge.
Exactly. The sources call this phase simply, knowledge is for the mind. It's like the blueprint for a new building. It's just potential at that point.
But a blueprint isn't a house. So next, you have to move deeper into the limbic system.
The emotional brain. Or the chemical brain. This is a much older part of the brain under the neocortex. Its job is to make chemicals, peptides, that match the emotions you're experiencing.
So when you take that knowledge, that blueprint, and you actually apply it, you create a new experience.
And that new experience makes the limbic brain produce a new chemical cocktail.
That chemical blend, that's the end product of the experience. It's the signal that tells the body, hey, pay attention, record this.
It is. This is how we form those really strong, emotionally charged memories. Like a marriage proposal or a moment of intense embarrassment. You remember everything because the chemicals locked it in.
So that feeling, that physical sensation is the body learning, which is why the motto for this brain is, experience is for the body.
And you need both. Knowledge without experience is just philosophy. It doesn't stick.
And experience without knowledge is just ignorance. You don't know why you're feeling what you're feeling.
Right. They have to work in sequence. And once they do, repeatedly, the program moves to the final stage.
Brain 3, the cerebellum.
Yes, at the back of the skull. This is the brain's microprocessor. It's a massive memory center, but for a different kind of memory.
This is for things like balance, coordination, and our hardwired habits and attitudes.
All the stuff that runs on autopilot. When your body knows how to do something better than your conscious mind can explain it, like typing a pin with your fingers, that's the cerebellum at work.
That's the state of being.
It's the home of your implicit memories, things that are so second nature you can't even declare how you do them. This is where that new self gets programmed.
Okay, let's use the practical example from the sources to tie this all together. The mother-in-law scenario.
Ah, yes, a classic. So let's say you decide you want to become a more compassionate person. You read all the books, Dalai Lama, Mother Teresa.
So your neocortex is firing, you're creating all this new knowledge. You are, for all intents and purposes, an intellectual philosopher of compassion.
Brain 1, check. But then the phone rings. It's an invitation to dinner.
And just the thought of your mother-in-law triggers the old program. The tight jaw, the racing heart, that resentment from something that happened 10 years ago.
The body remembers the chemistry of that old self. But this is the moment of power. Instead of reacting, you choose to apply your new knowledge. You use your frontal lobe to quiet down those old circuits.
You start to prune the old identity. Maybe you mentally rehearse a new way of being. You picture yourself hugging her, giving a genuine compliment.
You're installing the new software. Then comes the dinner itself, the doing part. You stay conscious. You choose to listen instead of react.
And by changing your actions, you create a totally new experience.
And that new experience activates the limbic brain to produce a new chemical blend. You feel a genuine warmth, a real feeling of compassion.
Your mind and body are finally aligned. You've moved from thinking to doing. But the sources are clear. Doing it once is not mastery.
Not even close. Mastery is when you can generate that feeling of compassion at will without needing your mother-in-law to be nice to you first.
It's funny, people achieve mastery all the time with negative states.
Oh, absolutely. People get so good at suffering, so chemically addicted to it, that nothing in their outer world can make them feel joy. They've mastered victimhood.
So the logic follows that we can just as easily master elevated states.
We can. You just repeat the experience until being grateful or joyful or compassionate is easy, natural, unconscious.
Until it's running out of the cerebellum.
And that's when you've turned knowledge into wisdom.
Which brings us back to the shortcut. The incredible ability to skip the external event entirely and go straight from thinking to being.
Right. To create a new state of being ahead of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need the world to change for us to feel good. We can feel good first.
Okay, so for anyone skeptical, what's the scientific proof that this isn't just wishful thinking?
It's mental rehearsal. It's been studied for decades. If you intensely focus your mind on a new ideal self, really feel it, like a sexual fantasy or rehearsing a big speech, your body begins to change physiologically.
Just from thought alone.
Just from thought alone, your brain does not know the difference between something you are vividly imagining and something that is actually happening out there.
So meditation then is really just a tool for this. It's a way to practice being that new person.
Exactly. You take the knowledge and you rehearse it. You install the neurological hardware. Your brain creates this holographic image of your future self.
And the body, as the unconscious mind, just believes it's real.
And when your thinking brain and your emotional brain start working together, a coherent thought with a coherent feeling, you are literally changing yourself, neurologically and chemically.
You are being that new person before the event.
And this is where we get into the quantum model.
Yeah.
Because that new internal state of being,
Yeah.
that combination of thoughts and feelings, it changes your electromagnetic signature.
Let's unpack that term because it can sound a bit out there.
It's actually very simple. Your thoughts are electrical impulses in your brain, your feelings are chemical, and those chemicals generate a magnetic field.
So thought is the electric charge and feeling is the magnetic charge.
Right. And when they are coherent, when they're aligned, you are broadcasting a very clear, powerful, unified signal out into the field of potential.
And the law here is a new state of being creates a new personality, and a new personality creates a new personal reality.
So if your signal's coherent, you should see something new and unexpected show up in your life. We're inverting the whole model.
We're no longer waiting for something outside of us to make us feel joy or gratitude.
We're doing it backwards. We generate the feeling of gratitude ahead of the experience, convincing the body the event has already happened. We become a vibrational match to that future.
So the real takeaway, the action here, is that you have to drop down, 10 inches from your head into your heart. It can't just be an intellectual exercise.
They can't. You have to think and feel in a new way. Those elevated emotions, gratitude, love, joy, they carry a higher frequency. They are the fuel for creation. They're the energy that changes your broadcast.
Which is really the definition of wisdom, isn't it? It's knowledge that you've gained through repeated experience.
It is. When feeling joy is as automatic and familiar to you as your old frustration used to be, you are truly liberated. You're no longer a victim of your environment.
And I think that leaves us with a really provocative final thought. The only way to access all those potentials in the quantum field is by being present in the now.
Absolutely. If your energy is stuck in the past through familiar emotions or you're constantly anticipating the future, you're not in the creative moment. You don't have access.
So if you can truly accept the idea that once you change your internal state, you don't need the external world to give you a reason to feel joy. What new internal state are you ready to master right now?